The European countryside, home to half of Europe's population. When you think of Europe's countryside, you may get images in your head of the mighty Alps, rolling Tuscan hills, French vineyards, or the vast Scandinavian forests, or places you visited during your holidays. Maybe you grew up in a small village, or even on a farm. Perhaps you can remember the smell of hay on a hot summer's day. Europe's countryside is famous for its wide diversity of nature, beautiful landscapes, and rich cultural and culinary traditions. This is where your daily food is being produced by millions of hard-working farmers. It is also where many more people live, work, and recreate. It's no wonder that rural areas are an important part of European policy. Rural development programs are a substantial part of the Common Agricultural Policy. They help farmers and other rural inhabitants to improve their livelihoods, to find or keep employment, while at the same time protecting the rich diversity that makes Europe a top destination for millions of tourists each year.
Ogni anno vengono a Baugiano dai 5.000 ai 10.000 bambini, suddivisi in scuole che vengono durante la settimana, famiglie che vengono nel fine settimana e ragazzi che vengono durante l'estate. È l'affetto. La multifunzionalità in azienda agricola porta sicuramente a un aumento dei posti di lavoro, perché oltre al lavoro con gli animali, quello intorno all'orto, nella trasformazione, nella vendita diretta, nella ristorazione, nell'ospitalità. Sì, da scolaro, da siero. Se la mia azienda agricola fosse solo produttiva, basterebbero 2 persone. Ma essendo un'azienda agricola multifunzionale, do da lavoro a 10 persone. Nonostante la crisi economica, la mia azienda ha visto aumentare le entrate, grazie alla diversificazione delle attività e grazie soprattutto alla vendita diretta. La mia azienda è molto piccola, ma proprio per questo può essere replicabile. Vedere i bambini e i ragazzi che si avvicinano alla campagna e che lavorano la terra nonostante la fatica e lo sporco è quello che mi fa alzare tutte le mattine dal letto.
At 43%, agriculture is the biggest land user in the EU. 57% of the European Union's territory is rural, and it is where some 22% of the total EU population, or 113 million people, live. In some European countries, such as Ireland, Bulgaria, and Lithuania, the recent economic crisis has led to a migration of people from the rural areas to the cities. Surprisingly, in other countries such as Spain, Portugal, and Greece, people have moved from the cities to the countryside. GDP in the EU 28 was valued at 13 trillion euros in 2012, making it the largest economy in the world. But GDP per capita varies greatly at the member state and regional level. GDP per capita is more than 11 times higher in Inner London as it was in northeast Romania. The average income in rural areas is just 70% of the EU average, whereas in urban areas it is 125%.
De Buurboer is een bedrijf dat echt lekkere lunches levert bij bedrijven in de Randstad. En wij stellen die lunches samen met allemaal mooie producten van ambachtelijke producenten die wij allemaal uit de omgeving halen. We begonnen met 1 bakker. Langzamerhand zijn er eigenlijk allemaal kaasboeren en alles bijgekomen. Dat bestellen wij vervolgens bij de boer. Eens per week wordt dat vervoerd en dan stoppen wij het in de kistjes die naar de klanten gaan. En daarnaast is het zo dat we producten eten die gewoon direct van de boer komen zonder dat er allerlei lagen tussen zitten. Doordat je het verhaal achter een product weet, gooi je eten ook minder snel weg. En met de Buurboer hebben we bedacht, door dus van tevoren precies te weten wat je nodig hebt, koop je heel exact in en hoef je niet weg te gooien. Dat stimuleert mensen denk ik ook heel erg om bewuster te eten.
Over the years, the budget for rural development, Pillar 2 of the Common Agricultural Policy, also known as CAP, has increased to now 25% of the total CAP budget. However, member states have to contribute equal amounts. The member states have the option to transfer up to 15% of Pillar 1 budget to Pillar 2, or vice versa. The 6 rural development priorities have been further specified into 18 measures, ranging from knowledge transfer, promoting organic agriculture, supporting local food supply chains, management of biodiversity, to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by agriculture. LEADER is part of the Rural Development Policy and stands for local development for and by the local community. Member states are obliged to reserve at least 5% of their rural development budget for the LEADER approach. LEADER areas can decide how they want to spend their budget based on a common local strategy, which has to be supported by all the local stakeholders. Every time you come across the LEADER logo, you know that a local project has received financial support from the European Union.
LEADER means a lot to a lot of people. For our communities locally, it means a sport that's unique, a sport that's built around a local community, around an area where I suppose sport doesn't normally come sometimes in terms of developing local community projects.
It is small scale, it is bottom up, it is sharing of information and know-how, and it is really inspiring each other.
We have to have a connect with the people and give them a sense of their own value and worth in making in rebuilding the local industry and the local economy. And I think our role as LAGs is very much to kind of drive that energy.
Very often we look at problems from the top down. But when we start looking at it from a different space, from the space from within the community itself, innovation is very often just that spring, just that little bit of a difference that can come from within the community and addressing that issue. A community is not just one type of person. We're not just all working in the public sector or the private sector. We're not just all housewives or farmers. We are just mixed, and the community is a mix of these people. So when we look at our sectors, our multi-sector approach, it's exactly that. It gives us the opportunity to share ideas with people who are also coming up with the same challenges and maybe have gone through barriers that we haven't gone through yet. It gives us opportunities to share our information, the good and the bad.
It's about the networks that they have, the way they cooperate with one another, with shopkeepers, with neighbours, with all sorts of people.
The European society attaches a lot of value to the rural area because this is the cradle of the European society in most of the cases. The needs of the rural society has diversified, and at a certain moment, even if the agricultural activity remained the core economic activity, then we had to address other needs because we wanted the farming sector to become more sustainable. First of all, we wanted that farmers address other challenges, not only economic and not only food production, but also environmental. And then these challenges has grown, and we got additional one. We got needs for developing the territories, and we get needs to ensure social integration. We get needs to diversify the activity in rural area and to keep the people in the rural area and to create conditions, good conditions for people to stay and work in the rural area. I think that it is very important that this rural policy gives the feeling to the people in rural area that they participate to the European project. This is, I think, in my view, one of very important aspects of the rural development policy, that one person or several persons or a community, local community, get the feeling that they also are in this European project. They also see Europe coming to them. Our policy has this partnership approach. We want actors from local level, from regional level, from national level, the Commission, to work together. We see that in this partnership approach, the local people, the local communities, they want to participate actively, and sometimes when they are not involved, they complain, and that's a very good sign for us.
The wide range of rural areas is one of the treasures of Europe. The Common Agricultural Policy is there to protect this and to offer opportunities to its inhabitants to find or create employment, enabling them to stay in the countryside. Rural development programs are Europe, right at your doorstep. Whenever you see the EU or Leader logo, you now know that that project is actually supported by the European Union. Want to find out more or join the discussion on the topic? Go to canucapit.eu.